Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. It's a day of trials. First, we are covering Mahmoud Khalil. In fact, yesterday, we as fast as we could put the habeus petition up. You couldn't view it in Pacer. It was kind of difficult to get. It's done as MK. It's a kind of a strange. It's not as transparent as it could be, but we did put it up, and we'll be covering Wednesday's 11:30 a.m. hearing by Judge Furman, who's put the kibosh on the deportation. But the trials, two are beginning today with opening statements. They began yesterday with jury selection. We were past five. One is the Iran murder plot trial, where Masih Alinejad was targeted by Iran by way of Uzbek mobsters, supposed Gulivor. They're both the two defendants. The third guy has disappeared from the case, intriguingly enough. But many of the jurors hasn't totally been finished. They've whittled it down to 30-some prospective jurors. But many people said, I can't be fair. Some of them didn't necessarily explain why. In the other case that we're about to cover, in fact, within a few short minutes, U.S. versus Kevin Perez, a.k.a. K-Flock, a drill rapper from the Bronx, charged in a RICO case in which most of the other defendants have pled out. One of the prospective jurors said, I know his music, and he was knocked off. And one woman said she lives in Yonkers and has teenage kids, and so didn't think she could be fair because of the gang elements of the case. The government is trying to use the music and lyrics as evidence. I don't know if they really should use that. If they have enough evidence, just do it, The idea of using the lyrics bothers me. Anyway, I'll be covering it in a few short moments before Judge Lyman. In the Javice trial, speaking of trials, yesterday, finally, a big development. The U.S. has a witness called Patrick Favor, with a strong French accent. And he was basically laying it on strong that Charlie Javice said she didn't want to end up in an orange jumpsuit. Very damning testimony. Then on cross, they said, weren't you interested in Charlie Javice? Didn't you come on to her? Didn't you brag about how great your body was? So that's, it definitely perked people up. These are the trials. They're fast and furious. What else we got? Oh, of course, the United Nations. We continue to report on them. And believe it or not, here's a bigger crime than almost anything that I've described here. Although there are some murders that I've just described. Child sexual abuse and rape by UN peacekeepers? It's true. It's not a rumor. They data dump these things. In fact, maybe it was on Friday after the noon briefing. They just put on their website that peacekeepers and UN peacekeepers in both the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Central African Republic credibly accused of child rape. Now, no one inside the UN noon briefing even asked about this. Inner City Press has been banned from the UN for reporting on just such things, but you'd think that if an institution took public money, one, they should have dealt with this situation. The reason they don't deal with it is that the peacekeepers who engage in child sexual abuse and rape are not subject to the laws of the country where these things take place. They have immunity. This is the problem with the UN. Immunity leads to impunity. And it allows someone like Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General, to ban the press that he doesn't like and only have people that don't ask about these things, only ask about what he thinks of Mahmoud Khalil. And I don't really care what Antonio Guterres thinks about that. But I will report on it. Inner City Press, we're going in.